Warning, is there more pain ahead? Well, that's exactly what this pattern tells us. It's a head and shoulders. It implies more downside. And if we look no further than the Russell here, it's already done it. It's already had this massive move lower off the 200 DMA. And this is at a time when Goldman Sachs is now cutting the S&P 500 target to become the first bank to blink during the sell-off. Oh my God. Seems like there's some fear out there, maybe even extreme fear. But here's the interesting thing. We actually have a move higher than yesterday. Is this going to hold? Because we're also higher than a week ago. Let's look back to the tape. Is Goldman Sachs wrong or are they right? Well, it's going to be one of two answers. So let's see what the tape would tell us. All right. So the Russell tells us that we should be mindful of the potential to go down. And now, if we look here to the Nasdaq, again, straight like it's cutting through butter, right? Easy, easy, easy. The move today is not that impressive. I'll tell you why. It's a hollow candle. Sorry, a full candle. What does that mean? It means we actually closed lower than we opened. So we were more bullish at 9:30 than we are at 4 o'clock. That's correct. Let's go to S&P now. Why? Same thing, another full candle. So I know sometimes it's hard to see on the screen, but these full candles actually give us a really interesting data point. Why? Well, because it means that we're actually more bullish in the morning than at the close, which means we found sellers during the day. Here's the interesting thing. I also know my algo's due for an alert. It might even pop off tomorrow. Where? Probably around 565 if I was to guess, roughly that number. But here's the interesting thing. And I do have to thank George for actually pointing this out. Georges, merci, Georges. We can note here that since the all-time high, we have not had back-to-back green days, right? Green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red. So what would happen here? The only time we had a full candle was actually here. It was our first green day as we lost the 50 moving average. 2 days close below the 50. There's our full green candle. Oh my God. 2 red days below the 50. There's our full candle. Are we going to get a power slam tomorrow? Is Goldman Sachs right? Because they are the king of Wall Street, right? U.S. stock skepticism deepens as Goldman Sachs cuts their target. Oh my God. Investors wonder any rally can stick as S&P surrenders gains. Yep. It's a tough market out there. Oof, right? It's tough. It's tough. Is there going to be more downside? Well, people are starting to panic. That's what this tells us here. There's been panic for over a week. There was fear a month ago, but here's what's notable. We can note that we actually formed the lower low. Now I want to leave you with what could happen if I'm wrong, because we're like, oh, this guy is super bearish. I'm actually bullish. I know I'm showing you all these bearish setups, and that's just because that's what the technical setup tells us. Let me give you a glimmer of hope here. Intel stock climbs following report that TSMC has pitched NVIDIA, AMD on venture to run Intel's foundry businesses. Whoop! Where is this? Oh, this is beautiful. This is in Washington. Nice. Anyways. Nice. If stinky Intel can rally by 13%, I was looking at this one, ironically. It was on my 401k list, but I didn't buy it. It's moving really nicely. And there's another really interesting coincidence, right? We got Nissan appointing a new CEO. Why does all this stuff matter? In case you haven't noticed, Trump's been talking a lot about autos lately. All right, so this still has to get Trump approval, but TSM, right? The big, most beautiful person in chips ever in the world. He wants to do it in America. Do it big, do it beautiful, do it huge, do it bigly. And that's what they're going to do. So now we're going up here. And as we look here, this Nissan headline is notable. And the other reason why it's notable is because Honda's actually going to be producing a car in America. Let me see if I can find this here. All right, I found the article. So Nissan taps new real car guy as their CEO. But remember, they were going to merge. Honda and Nissan were supposed to merge, and then they didn't. Read this headline here now. This is from Honda. The next generation Honda Civic will be reportedly made in the U.S. as Trump tariffs add $4,000 to the Mexican-made car. Whoa. This is from March 4th. Yes, right? Trumpy baby. Is this the art of the deal? I think it is. I think, but again, investors don't invest based on hope. Right now, they're fearful, right? And there's skepticism. So what could happen? Well, if we get a reason to stop going down, maybe people are like, well, the big bear market. It's not going to happen. Again, the onus is on the bulls to fix the chart because this is a bearish setup. I am not going to ignore it. But I also know that price changes sentiment very, very quickly. Why? I'm sure. I'm like, I was literally thinking of buying Intel on the weekend, like literally. Now the stock's up by what? 15%? Like, I'm getting a little bit of FOMO here. All right, if you could please consider smashing that thumbs up or subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you ahead of time. So Intel, out of the way. All right, Intel, Honda, Nissan. Why does all this matter? Oh, cars. Look what Trump was looking at yesterday. He was literally reading off a sales sheet from Tesla, a handwritten note. My lovely Donald Trump, Mr. President Trump, please sell these. Please tell Americans that they can buy a Tesla for as low as $299 or $35K. And we got the safest, most beautiful cars. And I'm going to buy a new Tesla today to support those families. So I really do think Trump is doing art of the deal because he's talked about two things. He wants to be a unifier and he wants to be a peacemaker. So unifier, peacemaker, but you got to make your stuff in America. Let's make that clear. All right, let's see if we can round this out here now. So investors wonder if any rally can stick. Hey, I might be wrong. I heard there might be a recovery coming. When? Oh, look at that. March 15th, right where we are right now, we go up, up, up. What if this happens? What if the seasonality chart plays out? Why? Let's look at it. That's roughly March 10th. That's roughly March 15th. So if we're able to do this, stop going down and going up, what would that look like? If you can watch until the end of the video, I will show you that. Let me just see if there's any other news I need to clean up here. All right, well, it's basically this. And I also have the cheat code for you here. So the cheat code is we got to print a higher high, close above the high, print another higher high, and close above again. Until we do that, we are not bullish. So we need to fix the daily chart, which this is showing here, before we're going to fix higher time frames. So we're going to come back and look at this after, right? This chart is busting. It's not busted. This chart is busting, not busted. This chart's broken. It's busted. We got to fix this one first, the daily chart. All right, make it clear. Make it clear. Well, we're on radar. If our algo gives us an idea, I'm probably going to buy it. But remember, how to avoid or fix a bull market is to do these 4 steps. Until we see this on higher time frames, I would defer to this. Why? Man, this tells us there is a lot of downside potential, and we are not clear. Why? Look at all the volatility around the 50 MA here, down, up to a lower high. Yes. What are we going to have to do before we come back and look at the daily to fix it? To invalidate this pattern over here on the left or the head and shoulders, we have to go to infinity and beyond. So I asked a poll here, and literally the next 10% move is either back to new all-time highs or back down to 500, nice round number. Guess who's usually right? It's not people who vote in this poll. It's not retail. They're usually wrong. They usually vote how? Emotionally. And right now, emotions are fearful. So I think, again, not I know, I think that if we're seeing that move higher on fear and greed, which we are, right? We can see it here. 18, 16, now we're back at 20. Okay, what about the chart? Well, everyone thinks we're going to go down, so maybe it's time to go up. I'm going to leave you with this at the very end too. So, all right, I got a few more things to go through. Let's close that out now. Hedge funds sped up de-risking, and there likely is more to come. This is what I don't know, right? I can't control what everyone does everywhere around the world, but Goldman Sachs is going first, right? De-risking is duration is difficult. Through yesterday, our best guess is that we are currently in the middle inning of this de-risking episode. What would that mean? Middle inning, right? We're maybe halfway through. I don't know. There's more downside. All right. Portfolio managers usually try to minimize their losses by unwinding trades over an extended period amid a sell-off. It's a way to avoid flooding the market with mammoth blocks of stock. All right. And remember, what is at the end of the month? It's the end of the first quarter. It's the report cards. Right? Report cards, report card. There we go. RC, report cards for the market makers, money managers. Why? We're going to find out whether they are hired or fired. Right now, the S&P on the quarter is down by 4.64%. If you did better or worse, you're going to find out at the end of the month. So this is where we might get reverse window dressing. What's window dressing? You pretend like you owned all the good stocks from the last 3 months. It's not Tesla. Lost half your money on that one. Nearly half, 41%. Amazon down 13, Google down 14, Microsoft down 14. And remember, over the last year, these stocks are still mega up, right? For the most part, they're still up. We knew there was an overhang coming into this year on big tech, right? They'll realize the profits this year to pay next year, but people are not going to want to pretend like they own these names. They're going to pretend like they owned Meta. They're going to pretend like they own Berkshire. They're going to pretend like they own the names that are working. So we could see more of these names working into the end of the month and more selling into the names that weren't working. That's just what normally happens. This is what I would encourage you to do. Try to avoid what you're going to regret more. We are all going to have FOMO. We are all going to have regret. However, if you don't own or own stocks, this is what you really want to think of. As I start to go through the the update here on How are we going to fix these damn charts? Because right now it looks like we're going down, down, down. That's right. We are going down. All right. Anything else to wrap up here? I'm trying to go as fast as I can. All right. We tried to have an alert here on March 7th. It didn't hold, though. This was at 576. Well, I'm happy I didn't buy that one. Happy it failed. If this next one pops off, I will probably action it. And I'll talk about my system at the end, theelgo.com. All right. So we have all this fundamental backdrop setting up for us to go up. And last thing to go through here, just make sure I'm not missing anything else. Nope. All right. That's closed. There's probably tons of news to go through. We'll talk about that. Actually, there was that guy right there. I think I maybe want to talk about this too. This is the ARC chart, right? This is ARC Innovations. Whew. It's a perfect psychology chart, damn, right? Wow. It's right back to here. Where? Disbelief, depression to disbelief. This is a suckers rally. If you think this is a suckers rally, maybe we're going to go higher. And here's the news piece I want to show. It was this part of what really drove the market down again more today. There's more reasons, but there were tariffs from Canada. I didn't even get to that. There was tariffs on Canada. There you go. $21 billion more. But then this guy's like, no, stock's too high. Stock's too high. Stocks must go down. And what is he saying? He wants to drag out the timeline. Cool. So Trump is supposed to be flying over there in the next couple of days, I believe. And then maybe we're going to get a nice little headline. Maybe a ceasefire. Maybe peace. All right. So what happens? Well, sentiment's going to change really quickly. Tariffs did take effect today. So CPI was cool. Part of the reason why market had a little bit of relief. Remember, if bad news can't make us go down, what could good news do? Well, tomorrow on the 13th, we got Premier Ford from Ontario, Canada, and Lutnick, who are going to meet, the Ontario Premier and U.S. Commerce Secretary. Then we got PPI and government shutdowns been avoided. All right, NVIDIA GTC, is it time to go big up? Are we going to get more reasons to go before we have April 2nd? I'm going to leave you with a bit of a thesis now. So I think I mentioned art of the deal. There's this big, beautiful place in the U.S. called the Big Texas, right? Everything in Texas, we do it big. Well, it's no different with Trump. There's data centers there. There's sun. There's going to be solar. There's cars. There's all this stuff. It's where Elon is too, by the way. So what does that mean? I think Trump is going to have a mega reveal. We've heard about TSM. They're investing $100 billion in the U.S. I think maybe more. Masatoshi, I think with Stargate, I think they said $500 billion. Yes. And then Apple, Big Daddy Tim Cook, he said $500 billion too. That's over $1 trillion. There's likely going to be a nice little photo op. Let me see if I can try a camera. All right, there's my attempt at a camera. There's going to be a huge photo op with a big Don. And if we want this to play out on the chart, let's now see what that would mean. Sorry for dragging this out. I'm just a little bit excited today because I'm actually able to find a bullish narrative here. All right. And honestly, I think most people are going to troll me in the comments today. And the more they do, the more I think I'm right. So if they're still watching at the end of the video, they're not going to comment. They're going to watch for like a second and comment. Oh, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. Trying to think about what is important here. So we're only going to talk about the daily chart. We also talked about 564, and that is the most important number on the weekly chart here for for S&P, but on the monthly 583. If I'm confusing you, monthly is the highest number at 580. The weekly chart is 560s. The daily chart, we just have to start going up. What happens when we do that? We have a higher low. Okay, we don't have a higher high yet. So if we're going to build any momentum, this green day has to work here. If it doesn't, we cannot afford to form another lower low. Otherwise, we're not here, right? Look at the date. What is it? It's March 12th. We're roughly about right here. Low, God forbid, higher low, 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 higher low. I talked about the biggest sale of the year. Yes, that was right here. But we need to do high, higher, high, higher, high, higher, high, higher, high, higher, high, higher, high. That is correct. And the way this would work is basically what I just showed. We stop going down, we start going up. And as we pop flag, we're going to hit resistance here. The 200 of May, that 560, that 580, 590. There's resistance the whole way up, which means we will pop flag, pop flag, pop flag if the seasonality is going to play out. We also talked about the movement into April, but then after that, what can make us keep going higher into June and July and the end of the year? Well, there's going to be some summits. Yes, there's going to be some summits. So I think if we get global prosperity, Nike swoosh, just do it up, up, up. All right. I think that's it for today's video. So if you're still watching here, that's what I would note. We have to wait until April. I think this is a bit of a ruse, though, right? I think it's art of the deal. Has to look real. Otherwise, countries won't really come to the table, which they are. But now it's looking like things are moving forward. So avoid what you're going to regret. And if this stuff interests you, like I said, I am going to have the alerts. I will show you on the system on the streams for free. On the 1-day chart, we're due for the alert. On the 1-week chart, we're also due for the alert. I really trust my system, but you probably don't. So the best thing you could do if you're very curious about what I'm looking at is to just basically sign up for the 45-day free trial. You get access to everything that I do, my 401k account, one-on-one help with me, private education, and you even get a private Zoom with me if you want. And I'll even log in to show you what my platform account is doing right now. Let's go to Justin. His current account right now will hide the orders. I have 2 holdings right now. Why? I've been a bit of a wuss. I've been selling my stocks, and you'll see the reason why. I got XLU, which is currently down a little bit for me. And then I got LMT. I talked about that one on the weekend. The other trades are closed out. I forget which ones those were. That was Google, EWZ, and App, and DBA. Anyways, here's what my account's doing so far this year. Wow, not bad, Justin. No, it's not. Briefly went red. And then honestly, just very consistent here. I normally don't like to show my profit and loss, but I'm doing it because I basically want you to trust me a bit more. I said that in the last few videos. So if you look at year to date, the market's gone straight down. So why have you not been showing us this every day if you're so good? Well, because I'm not so sure I'm so good. I'm trying to build a system over time. I've been trading a long, long time, but I've learned that every time I get cocky, there's usually a black eye waiting for me right around the corner. So if this stuff sounds interesting to you and you'd like to see the next ideas, you want to paper trade with our system, you want to see our stocks or anything, what I would encourage you to do is to just go to our and I'll show you what that is now. All right, here we go. Well, I give you guys a bit of a love letter. I said, wishing everyone well. It's rough out there. Reminder, we have a 45-day free trial, which means you can sign up and actually get free help for a month and a half, which means that's likely the cycle we're going to be looking at here. Look, a month and a half out, like that's like if you need help or you want help or you want to shadow me, want to see what I'm doing, today's the day to sign up. I would really encourage you to do it. Just cancel before the trial is over and you'll never get billed. No hard feelings. And with that said, if nothing else, click on the second link in the description to go here and see all my other free notes, or click on the third link to join me on our Slack workspace with no credit card required. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video.